How scary are these movies really? Let's put them on the spooky meter. Weapons, Longlegs, and Talk to Me. This is XANDZ Horror Movie Reviews, and I'm X with your Gen X perspective.
I'm Z with your Gen Z perspective.
And we're going to get started. Gen Z is going to kick us off with
Talk to Me.
There you go.
So, diving right into my thoughts with this movie, it is about spirits, which, always a good topic. People love ghost movies, right? It's great. It's a great topic. Overall, it's got fantastic visuals, and the ghosts are very, very cool looking, and it's got some concepts that are interesting, captivating, but there are some areas where it's lacking. Character writing is so-so. It's got some captivating stuff and some other stuff completely unnecessary. The pacing in the movie as well is it's a little slower than it needs to be. It just needs to move a little bit faster. There are some scenes that are unnecessary, and I feel like had this movie been a little bit shorter, then I would like it a little bit more, but it is, what, an hour and a half, roughly? Roughly. Anyhow, it's got an interesting pacing. It's so-so. It gets a little trippy near the end, to generalize it, which is cool when you don't do it too much and make it confusing for the audience. I think that it can be a very, very cool effect. Just don't make it so that you're questioning, okay, what's real or what's going on. Don't lose track of what you got, because then you got nothing. But overall, I think that we needed more ghosts in the movie. I think if we had more ghosts, this would be a much better movie. There's a scene in particular, not even really a spoiler per se, but we do see the spirit realm. And it is like gruesome and it's fantastic. It's a fantastic visual. And I love it, and I wish we got to see more of it. So overall, Talk to Me is not a bad movie. Definitely like worth watching. The intro to the movie, and by that I mean, the first 30 minutes is a little questionable, but keep watching. It gets better and better as it goes on. So overall, in the spooky meter, I'd give it a 6. Overall, I think it's got some potential. Not bad at all. So other than that, what are your thoughts on Talk to Me?
It was the directorial debut of Denny and Michael Philippou. And it's got some new people, new cast. Let's see. Sophie Wilde as Mia, Joe Bird as Riley, Alexandra Jensen as Jade, and then Miranda Otto, who's been around and knows her stuff. But primarily a new cast. And I liked what you're talking about, the ghosts.
Yeah.
I was really kind of on the whole movie and the whole concept up until the first ghost shows up. Then that pulled me right in.
It's like, ooh.
Pulled me right in.
Like,
and then
serious.
From that point on, I wanted to see more ghosts, and it's limited what they provide. All right.
Yes,
I will say these guys did this on a $4.5 million budget, and what they accomplished was amazing. Movie looks good. Good choice on cast members, especially Sophie Wilde, because she looks like, could be anybody.
Yeah, everyday teen.
Man,
until she gets possessed.
When she gets possessed, boy, does she play that well.
Props. Hats off to you.
Yeah, no, did a really great job with that. The subject matter is okay. These guys really try to appeal to Gen Z, I think.
Definitely.
And it's a lot of modern slang. It's modern circumstances. It's definitely a younger crowd. It's high school students, basically. And somehow or another, they get a hand. And this is based on the old Hand of Glory myth and storyline. And it is a haunted hand, basically. And
yes.
Once you take hold of it, you invite the spirit realm into your world. What they do with it is unique, somewhat believable, maybe not completely believable.
But at the end of the day, we're talking about spirits, so
they
didn't do a horrible job with
No, it's not a horrible job at all.
Mm-mm.
The movie does drag in a few places. I know what you're saying with that. They could have cut a few of the scenes out,
yes,
and been better off for it. They could have added some more ghosty stuff in there and been
definitely
better for that.
Much.
So on a spooky meter, I'm gonna join you with a nice solid 6.
Yeah.
Yep.
Overall. I
Yep.
think it's just above that halfway. I
Mm-hmm.
think that they hit a milestone there.
Yep.
So
All right. Moving
overall,
on.
moving on, we got Weapons. This
Weapons.
is what our most recent horror movie, right? It released this
Yeah.
year, and it's
So
releasing on HBO when
today,
today.
right, the 24th, coming out on HBO today. It's been out for
Hmm.
rent for a while. I think most people that have, wanted to see it probably have seen it.
More than likely.
We'll do light spoilers, but we won't give away the whole,
Oh yeah,
the
no,
whole
we
plot.
won't.
But popular movie over the summer. One of the horror movies that saved 2025 so far.
True that.
What did you think?
So this movie, while it did get great reviews over the summer, I think that is partly due to people being extremely hungry for more entertainment and especially horror. We
Yeah,
see this with The Black Phone 2, for example, a
yeah,
more recent
doing
horror
well as
movie.
well.
But overall, this movie just, I thought about it after watching it a little bit, and overall, I only liked like very like one or two aspects of the movie, and then the rest I could have done without. The movie largely revolves around witchcraft, and I'm not going to get into that because that would spoil the movie. But overall, it's got a witchy factor, and that in and of itself is fantastic. We love witches, anyhow, or at least I do. Overall,
Horror movie reviews.
yeah, right. Overall, the witch factor is a plus. That is like, yes, I feel like they could have leaned a little bit more into it
Yep.
and been better off. They do add some aspects that are like, okay, that's cool, or it's a nod to this spell, or so on and so forth. Either way, it's cool what they did, but they needed to do more. Other than that, we got a lot of people like Julia Garner, and these actors and these characters. The characters are very poorly written. They try to make you care about them to some degree, and I'm not really feeling it. And the actors certainly didn't do justice to these characters. There's not a lot of justice to be served. They're pretty shallow characters, I think. And for a 2-hour movie, somewhere around there, it drags. It's got some weird pacing where it jumps between character to character. What's happening over here with one character while what's happening over here with another character simultaneously. Kind of
Well, not
like
even
Pulp Fiction,
always. Yeah.
a
Again,
little.
like we did in our Trick or Treat review, we're going to bring up the term hyperlink cinema,
Yes,
and
yes.
it's not easy to follow necessarily. This movie in particular takes you down the road and leaves a lot of questions, and then it
Hmm.
goes to a new scene with new characters,
Whole new
and
direction.
they back up so that you go back in time,
Hmm.
and then they move forward and kind of fill in the blanks. So you go this far, you jump back, then you go this
Yeah, we
far,
were
then you
talking
jump
about
back,
this.
then you go jump that, and it's not easy to follow along. Um,
It's not.
yeah,
It's really not. They go in way too many directions for
yeah,
you to really follow along, and especially like at the end, it's like I don't even know what's happening. It's a barrage of like, boom, boom, boom. This character, this is
yeah,
happening, and it's like, okay. And there are some characters that they give names that don't really matter, or they play a really small role in the end of the movie. And when you name a character in a horror movie or any story for that matter, you need to give them a larger purpose because at that point, like, why do I know their name if they're not important?
I don't know about that,
That's how I feel about that, at least. So when you name a character, do something with them. Because at that point, I'm taking up memory, thinking about, okay, this character, what makes them important? Not that I'm short on memory in my brain,
but no.
but
I mean,
you
it's
get
not
what
a bad
you
point.
get what I mean.
Yeah,
Um, Also with the symbolism, there's some in this movie, but there's not a lot. They needed more. This movie needed more stuff, especially with the witch, and especially in a movie like this where you've got witchcraft and it's like, okay, that's real. You got to have more in the background, such as in a movie like The Conjuring. There's a lot going on in the background that isn't a focal point, but when you notice it, it's like, oh wow, I see that, and it's really really cool. And I feel like you need that in this type of movie so that you can analyze it, so that it's fun, so that you go back and you watch it again. For this movie, I don't want to go watch it again. I don't think I missed anything. I mean, point me out if I'm wrong, but I didn't spot anything in the background, and I was looking for it the entire time. So I was really kind of disappointed there. But overall, Weapons, not a great movie. Spooky Meter, I'd give it probably, with some of the scenes, I'd give it a solid like 7,
Okay.
maybe 5 or 7, in that range, somewhat close to Talk to Me, because they do lean in some directions that are like, oh, and then there's some directions where it's like, ee, it's back and forth, and by the end, it's like, that's it. And there's some confusing factors in the movie. So overall, Weapons, I don't think it's all too fantastic, but I do think people are hungry. So that's how I feel about Weapons.
Okay.
Do you have
All
anything
right.
more to say about Weapons?
I haven't said anything about weapons yet.
Well, you know what I mean. You pitched in a little bit. I'm just
Okay.
saying.
So, directed by Zach Kreger,
Yes.
and it stars Julia Garner. It stars Josh Brolin, Benedict Wong, Alden Ehrenreich, probably saying that correctly, and Amy Madigan. And then there's a child actor named Carrie Christopher who does a good job playing a traumatized child.
Indeed.
So yeah, this one I think I liked it a little bit better than you did,
Okay.
although it certainly wasn't as big as the hype, in my opinion. So I don't disagree with that. I did find it difficult to move along with, and I also do agree with you. We did not get powerhouse performances here.
No.
Really, I really don't think that they gave Julia Garner much to work with. I just don't. She plays a teacher, and she is a focal point as far as where this story goes. It involves 17 missing children that all left their houses at the same time, 2:17 in the morning, and disappeared, and no one can find them. Josh Brolin plays the father of one of the children. Also, kind of a mid performance for these folks. Again, I just don't think that the material was there to support the performance. The dialogue is
I
not
completely
there.
agree.
And then jumping around in time and with different characters every time to bring it all together at the end, it does get confusing. But having said that, I still watched it, kept up with it, moved along with it. You're not expecting the transition. I mean, there's a lot of misdirection in this movie when they finally give away who's doing what exactly. You did not see that one coming, which is a good,
the
fresh,
twist.
take on it.
Yes, the twist is
And
solid.
then, um, you know, what you brought up as far as symbolism and details go, I agree with that as well. There could have been some additions
Some in the background.
to lore. Yeah.
We could have known more about just little details about how the witch does her thing.
You
and,
could have
this
known,
and that.
there could have been interesting details that took the place of a lot of the dialogue. Show don't tell would be the old adage. And overall, it's a cool movie. It's definitely representative of what I think of as modern horror from the new up and coming set of directors.
Okay.
And I think that Amy Madigan as Gladys has a future as Gladys.
I
So
definitely think
a
so too.
lot of unanswered questions. I will say this: by the end of that movie, I had no idea what the hell had happened. I had to go
No, there's not a lot of
rewatch,
explanation, is there?
and then I looked up reviews and discussions on the internet, and then finally, and maybe it's just me, maybe I didn't get it, but man, I was like, oh, is that it? And still, a lot of things were not answered. So
No, there's not a lot of.
if you watched it and you feel that way too, then I'm glad, and you're not alone.
No, don't worry.
Okay.
You were not alone.
Okay. Spooky meter for me. I'm gonna settle back on 6 for this one.
Yeah. Fair.
So
Fair enough.
if it had more details, that would have bumped it up for me, but it didn't, and so it's like I didn't quite understand that. And having we do like witches. Studied a lot of literature and stories about witches, and this just gives kind of like a light a
It's
light
it's
coat
a
of like,
sprinkling of
yeah,
witchery.
and like, ooh, and then there's this. You're like, ooh, how did that work exactly?
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah,
and there's some
so
plot holes where it's like, if you think about it, it's like, wait, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
well, that
So,
and every other movie, and it's always
okay,
difficult to pull off the supernatural. I do get the part
definitely.
where you don't want to give too much information because all you do is set traps for yourself. Okay.
Okay.
However, you do need the right amount.
You do need the right amount, and
Yep.
sometimes it's hard to find. But sometimes when you have a concept, I feel like you should just run with it instead of trying to convince the audience, like, okay, this is how it works, and trying to explain everything because that digs a whole new hole
You got to
for
have
yourself.
the right amount.
So exactly,
Yep.
finding that balance is definitely important.
It's a skill. It's definitely
Most definitely.
not easy to
So
do.
I would have definitely wanted more of the witch, and they would have been better off for it. But
Okay.
overall, it is difficult to find that. Now, with that being said, moving on to our third and final movie, Longlegs. This got massive support after it released. A lot of the audience, they love this movie. A lot of people, a lot of critics have reviewed this movie and said, like, this is solid stuff. Now, I've seen this movie twice. You saw it once, I believe?
Once
Once
so far.
so far. But I definitely feel like it's worth rewatching, and I'll get into why right now. It is about the devil, just overall Satanism and the devil, but also childhood abuse and trauma. And that being said, it has some very interesting concepts, but it is extremely grim. It's got some stuff that's like, ooh,
It's moderately
ooh,
grim. I
okay,
think.
it's not going to twist your stomach. It isn't like, yee, like, okay, I don't want to watch this anymore. You know, you're not going to be feeling queasy afterwards. I don't think. At least I wasn't. Uh, but it's overall very, very conceptually like very well done. I love the idea of the devil and how he works with his systems in this movie, and the fact that he has someone doing his work for him, uh, Mr. Longlegs himself, played by Nicolas Cage. And wow, I I've not watched a Nicolas Cage movie in a while actually, but he does a fantastic performance. I just like to point that out. Everyone in this movie does a really great job, but he, with his over the top attitude, of course, always like that whole character. He makes that character happen. Had it been anybody else, I don't think it would have been as great with the character specifically. Now, other than that, I feel like the story is a little bit loose. They could have thought it out a little bit more. And that's really where this movie needs more work, more thought put into the details, into the story, and into the characters. They did a phenomenal job with all of it, but it just needed a little bit more push because some of it is like a little confusing and it's not completely solid. And we kind of jump from here to this concept, and it's like, okay, concepts 10 out of 10. Actual, putting into action, they could have done a better job, but it is there and it's just waiting to shine. So a little bit more thought put into this movie would have been great. There are some details in the background. It has the most detail out of the three, I think, or at least I saw. Um, you know, Overall, I feel like had we
Best plotting, I would definitely say.
okay, fair, had we had more character development, because they do a really great job with the character development in this movie, or lack thereof actually, because the main character, the protagonist, is kind of locked in one mindset due to her childhood trauma, and they talk about this in interviews and reviews, and it's a key part of the movie. But overall, Longlegs is grim to a certain degree, a moderate degree, like you said, and it has some really, really great concepts. So overall, in the spooky meter, I'm gonna go with a 9, like 8 or 9. I don't
Okay.
feel like it's a 10 out of 10 because I'm not shivering my timbers over here, but I am like, okay, like that's pretty cool. Like I like thinking about it. So
Okay.
that's my take on Longlegs, at least. What do you think?
So this one's directed by Oz Perkins, and its lead is Micah Monroe. She plays an FBI agent. Her partner is Blair Underwood, who plays an FBI agent. Alicia Witt plays her mother, who is extra creepy.
Exceptionally
Um,
creepy.
you have, of course, Nicolas Cage playing Longlegs, and then Kiernan Shipka, who plays just a very small role but very creepy performance as the only survivor of Longlegs. And
Yes.
just to give a little summary here, Longlegs is a serial killer and has been for a very long time, and has never been caught. So the FBI is following this serial killer, and they have a newer agent. Micah Monroe is playing that role, and she has
Some psychic ability to some degree.
an affinity for this character,
Okay.
and they put her on this case, and she is able to kind of tune in. I'll just say, without giving too much away, um, where Oz Perkins really captures you is building up the tension and building up the what am I going to try to call this here? It's the relationship between Longlegs and this FBI agent. A lot of people have compared this movie to Silence of the Lambs. Not exactly, but I see
Okay.
there are comparisons
There's
to
a
be made.
creep factor that goes along with some parts of Silence of the Lambs that I could partially see, but these movies are very, very different.
Very different,
Very
and
different movies.
this is not Silence of the Lambs.
This is definitely not to
Um,
that degree, no.
but you'll see the similarities. Um, so I liked the performances, and Nicolas Cage over the top, heavy prosthetic
Mhm.
makeup, really creepy character. That's either going to work for you or it's not.
Really?
It's kind of distracting in some areas, and um, yeah,
You found it distracting.
a little bit,
That's interesting.
a little bit.
I found that completely captivating
Okay,
because
all
he's
right,
so out of his mind with the
right.
Satanism that it's just
Well,
like, oh my, like,
yeah, he plays a
how is
guy
this like?
that's like possessed, I guess, by the
He's
devil,
not possessed. He's just
an agent of the
he's
devil,
a complete agent
and
of the
so is
devil.
this FBI's agent's mother, and a number of other people.
Yes.
So, and I'll tell you where, without trying to spoil too much, where it kind of lost me, I guess is the best way to put it. There's an element to how the devil manifests itself in the end. And by element, I mean an actual object that just,
That
I'm
is
like,
the medium between the devil and
yeah,
the
I'm
connection
not going to go too
to the
far with
real
it.
world.
When you see it, if you've already seen it, you're going to know what I'm talking
Of
about.
course.
And if you haven't seen it, you will when you do see it.
Yes, they make it
It
apparent.
just, it's like, why? Why that? Like, everyone gets the whole part where the devil possesses people. So why did we have to have this thing that it's kind of like the essence of the devil um, in an object?
Okay.
Like,
I don't know why. I don't know why he couldn't have just possessed.
well, let's just say it's an object within an object, and the outer object, which is a doll, I'll just say it, it's fine. That works. Like, that's creepy as hell.
Yes.
The object that lives
Lives
inside of the
inside the
doll,
doll.
like, that's a definite what, WTF. Like, I don't
See,
understand.
for me, I'm like, I just jump to okay, that's the medium that they chose to go with. I'm like, I don't,
See,
I
to
don't
me,
care about that so much. I'm like,
okay, all right.
what does that matter exactly? It could have been anything that
Oh no, to me,
connects to that
it's like
to the devil,
anytime
right?
you add something, you got to be careful of the questions it's going to raise naturally. So in that one,
Okay.
I was just like, and why was that in there? But sometimes I do that. Sometimes I get too fixated on like one small thing, and it just pulls
Well,
me out of the story.
they don't try and make it. They don't really give it a name. They don't make it like a focal point so much. I mean, it is an important factor, but they don't make it any more than it appears to be. It is simply the connection
Yeah, no,
to
I
the
get it,
devil
and
to
that's
the
the
real
part
world.
that bothers me. I mean, even if they'd have said it's made out of, something that the devil likes, then I'd have been
Right.
like, well, okay. But no, it's just like
Right. No explanation to
this
why this
random thing
object.
that has nothing to do with the devil. That has more to do with a nuclear bomb than it does the devil. You're like,
Okay. In any case, you know,
yeah, where
objects
I'm going
objects
on and on.
aside, enough rambling out of both of
Okay.
us. Actually, in any
Okay.
case,
So
Longlegs,
yeah.
solid
So
movie, I think.
I did enjoy it. I do think that the spooky factor is the highest of the three. I agree with you on that. I'd give it a 7.5.
Okay,
All
fair
right,
enough.
and it's solid, mostly because of Micah Monroe's performance. Like she really does portray, a traumatized person,
No, she
and
does a fantastic
she
job.
does. And then the other one, the Kiernan
The
Shipka,
mother. Oh no,
the mother was good.
the mother was
She was
solid,
good,
but
but
which?
the girl that was the survivor of the attack,
Oh, the
right?
southern girl. Yes,
She tries. It's some of the dialogue is goofy,
some
and
of that is
they
questionable.
done tried to make it too southern, but the performance, like it's creepy.
She does add some creep factor, and she is creepy looking.
Yeah,
They did
the
a
whole
good job.
thing.
They
Yeah,
did a
no,
good job with the creep factor.
yep.
So overall, Longlegs, solid movie. Talk to me. Better than I thought it was going to be. I
Hmm.
watched the trailer for it back in 2022, and I was very questionable. Like it was a very questionable movie. I was like, okay, I don't like it. Didn't inspire me to watch it. But having watched it today, I'm very like, okay, fair, good. Solid movie, solid take on spirits. Weapons is definitely the weakest, I think, in
Huh.
my opinion, because they just didn't lean into any specific
I don't
cool
think
factor.
Weapons isn't a weak movie. I would recommend any of these three movies for a
Really,
decent Halloween watch.
I would put
Um,
Weapons
they're
on.
solid. They're good movies. They're not bad movies,
Weapons for me would be the movie
but they're
that
not
I'd.
great movies.
It would be the movie I'd put on in the background at a Halloween party. That's
Okay.
just how I feel about that. Every other one I would want to pay attention because you can
Okay.
kind of follow along with
Yeah. No,
Weapons
you can.
whether or not
You
you're
know,
watching it like a whole lot. Like, oh, and now
mileage
this.
may vary. Everyone sees these things a little bit differently. Yeah.
So, in any case, these are solid movies
Yep.
overall. Weapons, meh, in my opinion,
Okay.
but definitely worth watching at least once.
And if you have HBO, you can start watching it today.
Bing! And Longlegs is on Hulu, and Talk to Me is on also HBO.
Also HBO.
Also HBO. So if you have
Exactly.
those two platforms, you can see all
You're
these
in luck.
movies on streaming for free.
Yep.
So overall, we are done with this review. All right. I'm Z with your Gen Z perspective.
I'm X with the Gen X perspective.
And as always, we thank you for watching.